I really want to welcome the panelists and each one of you for this much awaited panel discussion on a very, very important topic called skilling. The technology is disrupting each one of us, right? It is disrupting automotive, disrupting aerospace, disrupting every industry, disrupting us as well, the way we do things. And this kind of disruption is really helped the emerging economies and the emerged economies come back on the starting line of the race. Okay, maybe when we started producing automobiles, we were about 25 years behind some of these companies in Europe and in the US. But today, with EV, with robotics, with software-defined vehicles, with hydrogen, and we are back on the starting line of the race now. The whole idea of this is, are our engineers in India ready to really kind of take up this challenge and learn these technologies and be available for the industry that is really needed? Okay. So what is academia doing, and what are the commercial companies doing to ensure that these skills are being taught, these skills are available in the Indian community? And I strongly believe with the demographics that we have, with the age of engineers and the number of engineers that we have, I want to really ask a question: can India be the skill capital of the world? Can India provide skills not only to the Indian industries, but to the whole world as well? So that's the whole idea of this topic, and I'm highly passionate about skilling. I strongly believe this can happen, and we have such an esteemed panelist, Dr. Kamakoti and Mr. Sastry, Sarma, and Murali. All are really achieved a lot of things in their life. So few words of wisdom we can actually take away, and it will really help each one of us. So to begin with, I just wanted to ask each one of you, can you name one disruptive technology which India can actually take advantage of and really provide skills in that technology? So I would like to, this question is open to all, one by one you can answer. What's one single disruptive technology that you feel that we should have to take India to the next level?
So my big fan club is about on 3D printing. Okay. And that is extremely important because, we need to make our own 3D printers. Right? Again, 3D printing is one of the usage of the 3D printers, but then to develop the 3D printer itself in India. I think that's also going to be. So these two are very high in our agenda, and we have seen very interesting startups actually accelerating their product development in terms of implants of many things today using that. So I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, thank you, Hexagon, for this opportunity. Sharing the dais with Kamakoti sir on one side, and the industries which we work with day in and day out, as a neighbor to them also, SRM, being the neighbor to them, is very interesting. To tell you, as an academic institution, a little bit of a definition of disruption itself I wanted to speak about. Let's say what I call disruption is, in line with our Prime Minister's speech once I heard, something which can cause a zero defect and zero effect to the ecosystem we live in is what should qualify to be a disruptor. That's what I feel. And one which is reusable, resilient, and relevant is what is disruption I can say about. And the ones which will contribute to that, we want to broad base this to all the engineering students who graduate from all the academic institutions. Then disruption is normal in the society, and it will no more a disruption. That's what I feel. And specifics, sir has very well spoken about the technologies that have come in 3D printing, and he has already given a very good keynote on what are the future disruptors. So that's where we come in.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I think this is, I have one technology, I will name it. Before that, I'll answer the first question, what you mentioned, that, can India become the kind of thing,
Skill capital.
Yeah. Skill capital. I think India is already, when we started any kind of new technology, any point of time in the last, 50 years, but we have mastered it. We made, the other people We taught them, a lot of those guys. Even you take a CAE technology, right? Simulation technology, right? Simulation technology is now how many people have been supporting in across the kind of automotive or aerospace. I think many people have actually got into the kind of simulations from India, and then they mastered it, and then they've been doing it. Similarly, now what I'm going to name is the technology which is now the disruption is the AI. Okay, not only just automotive product development or any product development, any kind of product or even a component. No, it is going to play a huge role in every industry, not only just in development, product development, but there's a manufacturing, there is a sales and marketing. Everywhere you take it, AI is going to really the kind of key disruptor for next maybe I don't know how many years, but definitely it is going to be the major disruptor. That's what I.
First of all, thanks for inviting me to be part of this. It's a privilege to be part of this esteemed panel. Many familiar faces. Uh, I'll answer your question a little differently. I'll always like to have a different perspective. You're asking what what disruptive technology. I want to talk about how this disruptive technology or education in itself can be delivered through a disruptive innovation. So this is maybe something new that many of you might not have heard. It's a very nascent disruptive innovation in the education field. I call this nonlinear pedagogy. It is how do we train our engineers in academia as well as in industry. So this nonlinear pedagogy is a combination of three styles. When I say pedagogy, I'm talking about learning mode. One is the inquiry style of learning, which promotes students to research, which is important today. Second is problem-based learning. Actually, the students become problem solvers, not just in industry, but right through their education. And the third is experiential learning, which is where they are learning theory and experiments and concepts while doing something, while doing a project. So to me, this is the next new age classroom that I'm talking about, which is not a brainchild of mine or something. It's been adopted, early adopters are Purdue University, and they are so gung-ho about it that they have published it actually. So we're talking about transforming faculty from being content deliverers, knowledge imparters, to actually learning architects, create an environment of enriched learning. The students are not passive receivers, but active problem solvers. So imagine a course where you are having a sequence of problems being solved, right? In a cohort mode. The last but not the least, and the most important maybe, is the industry participation in academic curriculum. So we are not talking about being peripheral contributors, but being co-mentors in these classrooms. So while faculty are lead mentors, industry can be co-mentors. So the benefit of such a idea is students are learning problem solving, learning to plan, execute, deliver, communicate, resolve conflicts, learning to connect with industry problems, and last but not the least, they are actually being industry ready.
So Murali, can you give me an example of experiential learning? First of all, I really want to thank you for displaying your car, which you just launched on Friday in this conference, and really telling how the car was designed using Hexagon technologies. I really appreciate what you did. But when you say experiential learning, are you saying that taking your products to the universities and actually teaching them durability or NVH on the vehicle or dismantle the vehicles? What exactly you mean by experience? Can you elaborate on that?
Recently, they have donated 2 cars to SRM University.
Wow.
They are there in the university, and we are jointly working on the power statements.
So they will
Fantastic.
actually, academia can solve some very niche problems for us, which is happening. We are doing with IIT Madras. We did at least 3 projects with them to solve problems. We did a hackathon, first of the kind, with IIT Madras called Engineering Hackathon. Not a software typical hackathon, it's engineering hackathon. So we actually got 6 ideas from IIT Madras. So academia is the intellectual capital for problem solving, is my view. At the same time, our own engineers can benefit from academic interactions with faculty, with students. There should be a very, shall we say, a symbiotic relationship between academia and industry in this. I'm talking about the imparting the education,
Fantastic.
not collaborative projects. That is happening a lot. I'm talking about imparting education.
Yes, sir. Dr. Kamakoti.
So, in terms of experiential learning, I'll give one of my own experience where I have benefited out of it. So, when we made the Shakti processor, it was completely scratch. So, we started here, we did the design here. We went to SCL, made a 180 nanometer design, which then made a, the PCB, mounted the processor. Everything was designed in-house, and then we booted it. And when I booted Linux on that, the first time we realized that before the prompt comes, there are close to 1.2 or 1.3 million instructions that execute before the prompt comes. Okay, so, and that is the point where I realized, by the time it was 2019, right? So I've been teaching operating systems for 19 years, and 19 generations I have screwed up. This is not the operating system, some banker algorithm, some nonsense, something. Okay, so then I completely rewound the complete syllabus, and
Wow.
we now have a different approach to teaching computer organization, teaching computer architecture, teaching even digital logic, and teaching operating systems. So this, I believe, is an experience or an experiential teaching first, right? So just to add what Murali and all of this have mentioned, it is very important for us to actually touch the product. That touch gives you a different, completely a different outlook, which just academia can't do. And that is where some of the top Ivy League universities today, they do some niche products. And so those product experience, they translate into teaching. And that happens, I think we are going. So I can now say with pride that, one batch when I taught the new thing, all the 30, 40 fellows got into architectural companies without interview. Okay,
Wow.
so that much they all got for some internship and they were offered. Many of them didn't join, but then they were offered.
Great.
So that means essentially there's an industry acceptance for it. This is my small one more paisa on this experiential learning.
Yeah. So I just want to touch upon this is very important point what Murali mentioned, and Dr. Kamakoti is also telling about it. So we also even in the field of simulation, for example, in the aerodynamics of a car, particularly when we were doing the kind of electric vehicles in the last year we launched, right, November. Before that, 2 years before, I started a kind of an interaction with IIT Madras, Dr. Patnaik, in applied mechanics. I asked him to come to my place and then teach some of these concepts of aerodynamics in the simulation kind of an area. Because a lot of people, use tools. In our end, they are actually comfortable in, how to use the tool. But the technology behind in terms of the physics, the physics part of it, a lot of people are lacking in. So we try to get that. But Dr. Patnaik also got a lot of benefit that, what we were actually using it and how to reduce the CD, directly they did not work on any kind of a car program earlier. So these kind of things, I think industry should and academic also collaborate and then see how to use the collaborate also in this particular thing. Otherwise, what happens is, the guy comes from the IIT Madras or whatever it is, it's a kind of fresh thing, to learn something different. So I think this is an essential kind of thing which we need to practice.
Love to add here also Mahindra and Mahindra. It's a year ago, 500 plus GETs recruited across the country were there in our campus for a month's time.
Absolutely.
Getting the orientation and induction through our faculties and their faculties joined together and they did that.
Really great
This-
to see
these are-
the association.
Yes.
Fantastic. Dr. Kamakoti, I wanted to say, since from your vantage point, since you're associated with the PMOs and with the government institutions, is there any skilling policy that are aligned to us, and do you think government should do more to ensure that these skillings are done, and do some investment where the commercial companies can really work closer to the education institution? So can you highlight, is there any policy that is?
Yeah, so there's a skill development ministry itself that comes under the Ministry of Education. And we have multiple skill development policies. But I'll just say, so policy is actually a piece of paper unless we take it in letter and spirit and implement it. So let me just tell you some implementation, one from an example from Government of India, another from state government. Government of India, in the national education policy, we have this national credit framework, right? And the national credit framework basically says that for the degree must be given for the knowledge that you have acquired and not for the courses you have cleared, right? So that essentially means that today you can have an academic bank of credit, and you can get skills from different sources, accumulate, and if a university can look at those credits and say, okay, this is fit for this degree, then they give you a degree. So this is the basis or the philosophy by which this national credit framework actually started. Now, when this whole topic of employability, so many people are employed, employable, all these things have come, then AICT and UGC, with their own wisdom, today came out and said that 20% of the courses can be skill-oriented courses.
Okay.
That if you are taking 100 courses as a part of a program, 20 courses can be skill-oriented courses. And 40% of the courses can be taken online. So these two came up, and thanks to COVID again, COVID basically told that you don't necessarily need one big thing. Lot of things can be educated, not everything, but many things can be educated through online. So with these two policies today, specifically for we have been running the Swayam platform even before NEP came in place. But this became quite but very important after NEP and immediately followed by COVID, where today 40% courses can be taken online. We have 1.4 million students across India come and take these NPTEL and Swayam courses taught by IIT professors. The same quality is maintained. They take a proctored examination, not sit in their home and do some AI monitor. All those are humbugs. Okay, so they come to a center, they write the examination said by an IIT professor, they get the credit, and both the AICT and UGC said that these credits can be taken back, credited into their mark sheet, and they can get a degree out of it.
Nice.
So this is the first thing that has come out. Having really, benefited by this, IIT Madras is coordinating. The Government of India, Ministry of Education, started this program called Swayam Plus. This is the first time where we went to the industry. And told them, you come and offer courses, and we will recognize these courses. We will assign credit for it under the National Credit Framework. And these courses, so the industry now come, they offer these courses. We put them in the portal. Any university can select, okay, my students can do these skill-oriented courses. And those credits, since they are now allowed 20% of the credit could be skill courses, they can take these courses and then they can credit and get the degree out of it. So, skilling now has become institutionalized in
very nice.
Right? And that is something which is coming up very So these two things put together, there is a good amount. We have already 200,000 students who are part of the Swayam Plus platform. And we have more than 120, 130 courses which are there. And the industries are participating. And it can be both. The industry may say, okay, I'm skilling free, let them do. But industry, it's also a paid model. So industry can also take money from this. So we have enabled both. And we see a lot of industries actually participating, and more can participate. Anybody is interested can contact me. I'll put them with the Swayam Plus Squad.
Great, thank you so much. So, yes.
I'll add one thing here. The recent apprenticeship policy by the Government of India is becoming a mandate for all the corporates, apprenticeship. So many companies are calling me now, say that, and using the NEP, National Education Policy again, after 3 years of your graduation, please give them a diploma certificate so that I engage them for the final 1 year with me. And you on top it off with the graduation after end of 4th year. So 1 year apprenticeship, they want to use this as a. So many of these, the regulators becoming facilitators, and regulators starting innovating on how we further facilitate to see that the workforce we develop is more employable, skill is a component of it, is actually catching up fast and things like that.
Internship for 2-3
Ah.
months or something like that. So this is, you're totally
Yes.
institutionalizing it by saying that it's not just an internship. You
Yes.
actually go through the whole day, work with the company for a year,
Yes.
and hence that could really help
Yeah,
with
yes,
employment.
yes. So the NDP is helping us now. No? NDP says after 3 years you give a diploma. It was not there previously. So you give a diploma, then you take that 1 year experience with the industry with the Swayam Plus courses or Swayam courses. When he is doing his apprenticeship with me, he'll go through those courses and you put a rubric and take it into your academic council, get it approved and give him an award, a degree, a BTech degree. These are when facilitators, the regulators turn as facilitators and innovators, is what happens.
So I also, from the Tamil Nadu government, we are also working very closely with the non-Mudalvan scheme here. So where we basically have tied up with NPTEL Swayam and also Swayam Plus. So this again is now a platform where the students, specifically from Tier 2, Tier 3 institutions and suburbs, can basically now get an access, or it's actually a democratization of opportunities. So the Swayam Plus, non-Mudalvan type of platforms are something that industry now should start looking at it seriously and then start participating in this. And for example, in both the Swayam Plus and this non-Mudalvan platform, I think industries can now come and define these are the courses that we want them to do. And if they clear, say, 80% or more, then at least, look at their resume. We don't want you to recruit, but look at the resume. Call them for an interview. I think that itself is very, very important. Right? Always I say, before you, reject your, partner, at least you see the photo. That's why I'm saying, at least look at the resume. Then you reject or take, but look at it first. I think that is something important. Okay.
So today we have AI shortlisting all these resumes. So we should teach AI also how to look at.
So the Netherlands, there was an issue, I think, Netherlands, I think, where, some audit happened. See, looking at the resume is also like an audit. And they found that there was racial bias.
Yeah.
And the lot of people resigned because of it. So AI is also dangerous. That's another part of the story.
So Dr. Sharma, from an industry perspective, what are the top skills that you really want to see from these academic institutions, and where do you see is the biggest shortfall today?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a very relevant question. I'm not really finding a final answer for this, because we have to really come up with an answer, with respect to the industry and academia. So when you look at the kind of young engineers who are coming in, generally the last 1 year, what they are telling about the project or whatever it is, they work on some kind of one simulation project related to maybe one domain using one tool. Okay, maybe ANSYS for NVH, or ANSYS for durability, some dynamics for some kind of Adams for and they want to continue the rest of their life in that particular thing only. That is the kind of, the discussions what we had, earlier, when they were coming in as a GTs and joining, they are thinking that that is their life. I would rather say that is a kind of a fear of failure kind of thing, which is taking, that kind of a decision. But what we need is actually the person should have all the kind of knowledge of if the mechanical engineering is the subject that we recruited for that particular kind of a field, it can be anything in the industry with respect to a validation testing, or it can be a simulation. He should be willing to, first of all, take anything and learn. He should not be kind of, constrained by himself what he learned in the last 3 months or 6 months, something like that. That is one thing which I wanted to tell a lot of these people.
Be open.
Yeah, be open to the. The third point of thing is, now the decision making, and people join, they start their career in each of these domains. We have automatic, I'm specifically mentioning the automotive domain, where you have a major domains like durability, NVH, we have dynamics, we have crash and things like that, right? And CFD. And it is very a particular product development decision that, finalize to release the vehicle level kind of drawings. You need to really have a little bit of understanding of the other domains. You cannot really see, I want this for this particular domain. So you cannot really come out, because otherwise you cannot meet the targets together. Okay. This is one particular thing which is missing for the decision making to converge on the kind of a final CAD release. Okay. For the simulation engineers. And the most important thing now, everybody should be able to really, incorporate some things with respect to the kind of AI into their kind of field. If you don't really work on this aspect of, the agility will be lost. Because more and more, if you really see, taking just a detour, 10 years back or even 15 years back, product development used to be like 4 years or 5 years, right? That is reduced to something like 3 years. With a very reasonable kind of solves, you have all the engineering kind of physics solvers, whatever we have, but now the expectation is 18 months. Completely new product development is 18 months. So when the demand is something like that, you have to innovate, right? How do you really? So unless you automate and unless you bring in the AI angle, the AI angle will come only when you are actually having some kind of an understanding of the coding, right? Python. Your load case, you have to really take the responsibility to convert into a AI based prediction. So this is another thing which I think I'm not expecting from the people who are already joined 10 years, 15 years, but the young engineers, we are actually making sure that they have some flexibility to understand, get a kind of a Python or something like that, some coding.
So
Yeah.
essentially, I heard a famous quote. I think it's for everybody. They said, "You don't lose your job to AI. You actually lose a job to someone who is using AI.
Yeah.
So don't worry about AI, but worry about someone who's using AI. So you'll kind of be left out." Yes. So you wanted to say something.
Yeah, just to add to what Sridhar is saying. See, today this upskilling is becoming very, very important. So upskilling is also a part of the policy. So you ask, I'm just trying to answer this question. So today, as a part of it, one of the agenda set by the NEP was that you give a course where there is no cap on number of seats, cap on age, cap on anything. Let them come and start working. Some basic thing, you should just ensure that they can understand what you are teaching. So that with that as a background, we started this BS Data Science and BS Electronic Systems at IIT Madras.
Okay.
Today we have 49,000 students who are there.
Wow.
And since we don't have that, in JE, through JE Advanced, I can only admit around 1,300. So I have to, from 1.5 million, I have to do that examination of elimination. But here I don't have a cap on number of seats. It's an online course, hybrid course. And since they come to a place and write the exam, the proctoring is all correct, but only the teaching is happening through, they see, instead of seeing the professor in person, they see it through an HDTV thing. So they almost say see a professor. The entry become due to an eligibility test. You just write an eligibility test, you cross that, you get into the program. But the exit is very hard. Okay. And proof of the pudding, today there is a gate examination that many of us wrote, that after you finish a BE and come in. Today we have a gate paper in data science and AI. First ranker, seventh ranker and ninth ranker, all three are from our BS data science course.
Excellent. So excellent. I think that is the kind of prerequisite
to prove this. So now coming to this point of what Sita was mentioning, see, it is very, very important that, people who are in the industry today. I went to a car factory. I did not take the permission to mention it publicly. I went to one of the car factory here. And when that, some 4 or 5 very elderly people came and said, "Sir, we are your students." I said, "Where are you? What are you doing?" "They are doing data science." I said, "Why?" "Because engine fine tuning, I make 1 gigabyte of data every day. And now I am able to fine tune it much easier. I put some of the tools, Python and other things, and I am able to do that very fast. So you can now join this course irrespective of your age, provided you have passed +2 in your life. Okay. So we have an 82-year-old Tata who is now is in the 3rd year now, and he is having a CGPA of 8.5.
Wow.
Awesome.
And all programming assignment is 10 on 10.
Fantastic.
Okay. And he says after finishing, he'll finish in 84. After finishing BS Data Science, he says I'll join BS Electronic Systems. He want me to put another 3 more courses by the time he touches 100. He is very confident he'll touch 100 because IIT keeps him so active. He wants to do 4-5 courses. So upskilling is something very, very important, and we can
And multi-skilling. That also I mentioned about other domains of,
So
interest.
essentially, I think Murali yourself, this is very interesting. We are discussing interdisciplinary skills, right?
Yeah.
Just not a pure mechanical engineer with data science, mechanical engineer with software, to address the software defined vehicles and all. So what do you think? How important is this interdisciplinary skills for the engineer? He's not a pure mechanical engineer, but he's a mechanical plus a data science, he's a mechanical plus a robotics engineer, or a mechanical plus software engineer.
I'll answer it a little bit. I'll come to this point, but recently I'm privileged to have been seen both sides of this in the part of the industry for decades, and also now faculty teaching AI. So I asked a good friend of mine, a famous professor. I asked him a question: how many people sleep in your lecture class? Okay, and he looked at me, smiled, and said, at least 50%. Yeah. And then in the same token, I often go to the Center for Innovation at IIT Madras, and I see pillows and toothbrush there. And I asked the student there, I mean, is it meant for guests or something? No, he said, no, we are doing projects, and sometimes we don't want to go back, and we want to continue our project through the night. So this tells you something, right? That when you throw students problems and projects at students, all of a sudden they are motivated, they are challenged, they are empowered. And I think, to me, this is the spirit of what I was telling in the beginning, right? Imagine a curriculum is a sequence of problem solving activity where you are connecting with the industry tools, industry software, industry mentoring, industry contextual problems, right? To me, that is the spirit of teaching young engineers. To answer your question, when a problem arises in front of an engineer who is in product development, it doesn't come with labels that it is mechanical problem or electronics problem, or problem solving is cross-functional by nature.
So true.
So therefore, it is imperative that the education has to be cross-functional, but organically. It can be organic because you throw a problem at the students, they have no choice but to learn cross-functional aspects. To me, that's where I was talking about the new pedagogical theme or style is to, and you asked me how young engineers learn in the industry. They are thrown at projects. So what kind of skills do you expect? You expect collaborative intelligence. They need to work with a team. They need to resolve conflict. They need to work with diverse cultures. They need to work with cross-functional domains. They need to be able to plan, execute, present. So art of storytelling. These are some things when we get graduates, we hire graduates a lot, just like Dr. Sarma and he was talking about. And all of them come with minimal skills of this attribute. We need to actually throw them into the pool, deep end of the pool. They learn. I mean, they're smart because these young engineers are very ambitious and smart. They learn fast. But it's still, we lose 6 months, we lose 8 months, maybe in the process.
Exactly.
So to me, to answer your question, all of this cross-functional is important, but it can be solved at the academic level.
The other day, when we were having a customer advisory board meeting, it's very interesting. Our smart Nastran lady, Vicky, telling the customer, throw problems at me. I love problems I'll solve. She didn't say, tell me what you want to know more about Nastran. She said, no, you throw the problem at me, whether it's Nastran or something else, I'll kind of solve it. So basically, rather than telling them to do this, throw a problem, he'll figure it out how to kind of use it.
Yes.
That's what the inquiry-based learning there is. It brings the inquiry and experiential learning. It empowers the student. Faculty becomes just an facilitator.
Enabler.
And the industry should be co-enabler to me. That empowers students. And if you want young engineers to shine, this is the way. Empower them, make them responsible, make them inquiry-minded, make them project problem solvers. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I would like to
Yes.
add a few points here. With university with autonomies like in 2012 itself, the current vice chancellor, when he was the director of engineering and technology of SRM University, when it was like full 8 semesters course, one company, multinational, has come and recruited students, and they wanted them to join in the month of January itself. It was not possible those days in 2012. But he said, he sat in a meeting and he said, why not we complete our semester in 45 days and send them to the industry?
Wow.
He did that. The second one which I want to mention is, in recent meetings he said, anybody who wins an industry-based hackathon, please give them 3 credits direct. Don't ask them to study a course for that. Ask them to give them that. There is a second initiative which we have been working on, how to framework that and identify and give that particular credit, because 120 credits are core course and 40 credits are there in your hand to play. For awarding a degree, you need 160 credits. So there is a lot of things that are happening right back in the institutions. And if somebody does a interdisciplinary project, since we have a medical college also, right next door, a law school is also there, a management school is also there. So if they go and contribute there for a project, they get credits for that. So these 40 credits we are trying to play in such a way that the student gets the benefit and he works on these interdisciplinary projects and ensure that he is working on a problem statement. Being a career center, a target is given to me that every month I should have 2 industry-sponsored hackathons in my department. This is where we are working on.
If I may add one thing.
Yeah, I just want to
There are a
also.
lot of industry professionals, retired, semi-retired, who are willing to come free with a lot of passion to inculcate industry orientation to the academia. I'm willing to do it, right? So please leverage industry professionals to connect the engineers to the industry oriented work, employability that you talk about.
Yeah, the framework is ready, sir. Already professors of practice is one, Government of India has put in. See, the reason why I am sitting here is Parasuraman from Toyota, who put me here in this panel today. It's not that I know about this and you have invited me. It is through his connect you invited me here.
Correct.
So he's a professor of practice in SRM University. We have approximately 150 plus professors of practice. One is Dr. Sivadanu Pillai, is a professor of practice in SRM University.
Nice.
Who delivered the missile BrahMos free of cost to Pakistan.
Awesome.
Doorstep delivery.
Same thing.
Yeah, doctor.
We call him, he's also professor of practice at IIT Madras. So we call him Am Brahmosmi. Okay. So yeah, when you are asking about policies, right, this professor of practice is now a policy of Government of India, where we bring in, we also have around 40-45 of them who come in. The basic thing is that they establish this academia industry connect.
Fantastic.
Bring industry type of projects and teach courses which are basically industry oriented. We have a lot of army generals. We have almost the vice chief of our earlier vice chief general. He's here and he basically teaches defense technologies. And at the end of it, we are able to actually fire, they know exactly what it means to fire a missile.
Great. Murali, I just want to touch upon, since you're part of a global organization and you've really taken various roles and now recently you're doing a lot of work in skilling area. Is there any global certification or continuous skilling plan within Stellantis? So is there anything that we can ask these Indian engineers to be certified globally so that they're actually kind of accepted in a global automotive industry and not just the Indian automotive industry?
Yes. So to answer your question, there are multiple venues for certification and it basically builds credibility, right?
Correct.
For example, 20 of our engineers are doing their MTech program at IIT Madras. And automatically it builds brand and credibility to their resume, and then they are doing something which is contextual to our project's work. So it's not like they are doing something decoupled from. Number two, we have our engineers who are doing remote electrification program at Ohio State University, so, which is a US university. So they're gaining certificates from that. This is globally recognized electrification certification that happens. Then we have an academy which is partnered, Learning Hub, which partners with Udacity, Pluralsight, Code Academy, and in some cases Stanford. What that does is we enable our engineers to actually get the licenses of those, which is paid by the company, so they can do a curated set of courses aligned with their job profession, but certified by those academies, which is globally recognized. Right?
Is this available only to your employees or anybody?
It's available for our employees
Uh-huh.
because we have a MOU with those platforms or something like that. But I'm pretty sure Dr. Sharma has something similar with academia slash
Yes.
certification partners. We have certifications from Shannon. We have certifications from Kepner Trigger. So there are quite a few things we do. So our engineers have the ability to certify themselves for the current job need, but it adds significant value to their resume.
Yeah.
Right. So they can be global citizens, global engineering citizens, and that's actually we need that because Stellantis is a global company. We work on global products. So it's not like we are working on Indian products alone. Of course, but Basalt is a completely indigenous product developed in India. But that capability we have demonstrated.
So how do we ensure that this knowledge is available with all? Where they can go for this global certification? What are the things that they can do? Is there any URL site or something like that where this knowledge is available to each and every engineer in the country?
Think NPTEL from IIT, right? It's a very good. It needs to be branded way. Engineers should get almost free education on courses. It's excellent, by the way.
Tripartite agreement. We got our faculties certified in Apple technologies, handholded by Infosys and Apple. There is a center of excellence where we call this program as Inspire, Engage and Transform. We take 650 plus students, inspire them on Apple technologies and reduce them to 150 in the engagement phase and make them do 50 prototypes. With those prototypes, they go to an internship with Infosys in the 7th semester. This happens in 6th semester. 7th semesters, they go and engage with Infosys. And then they come back. The effort of it resulted in 10 plus apps on App Store by the students who wants to be entrepreneurs of future. And there are a few of them who got good jobs in Apple technologies. This is one. The second one, which we did in Career Center itself, is we studied since the skill-based hiring is happening now, we studied the various roles for which the recruitments are happening, identified the global technology certifications, and we still not able to identify the specific domain-specific certifications. That's the only problem which we are facing. We need help from I think the industry bodies and industry professionals is required to put up these certifications so that students can have domain-specific and technology-specific certifications. And we are negotiating with companies. Like suppose, let's say, I have a tie-up with ServiceNow. I am talking about Capgemini. They give us free certification vouchers to distribute to our students. They buy it in corporate cost. They give it to our students who get certified. They join them. They can join them or they can go to any other industry also. But who doesn't get certified has to pay for it.
So great. So as in your current role as a director of Career Center, you are actually working with the students who are just about stepping into the industry, right? What is the gap that you see between the capability and the employability with your students today?
See, the biggest problem that happens is every industry is specific to their own specific work which they do, and they expect very specific traits in it. But we cannot make a product which is specific to that. We need to give a graduation first. We need to make an engineer first. So in that approach, as this is the way we are working on, that 120 credits is core courses, 40 is what we can play on and plug in industry there so that the gap gets reduced as far as the expectations are concerned. And these various models which we are working with, like initially also there are industry sponsored courses are also there. Like, TCS has sponsored a computer systems and business systems course. They framed the curriculum. They are designed the curriculum and they have given it to us. So various models we are working out, and the regulators are also facilitating it in a big way by giving that autonomy to us to decide on what sort of composition we can have. As we said, these professors of practice coming in. A lot of things are happening to reduce that gap. But as such, what I feel sitting in Career Center for 25 years is we cannot make a tailor-made product for one industry. We need to broad base certain areas and then look for tailor making it. So this is where we need to work in.
I just want to second this. So what he said is correct. The kind of the interviews people conduct from industry, that needs to change. I have observed for quite some time this, how people are getting interviewed, and the kind of questions what they ask is on the knowledge. Knowledge is always, after hiring that guy, you can train him on the knowledge, because the company has got that knowledge, right? You don't have to expect that relevant knowledge of what you have from him. And tools, the specific tools, what do you use? These two things people should avoid. You have to really question in the talent. When you are bringing a candidate inside, you have to see how he is, connecting things, from one domain to the other domain. Or that is where I think today's, many people, when they are hiring, they wanted a specific candidate suitable to their field. You cannot really get it from an academic institution.
Basically, what you're saying is the old standard thing that rather than looking at the aptitude of the guy, look at the attitude of the guy, how curious he is, and what is his willingness to learn.
Absolutely.
Aptitude can always be taught. Attitude cannot be
Absolutely.
taught.
First thing we should stop is filtering people through CGPA.
CGPA also.
Okay, that's the first thing we need to do.
No correlation.
Project portfolio of the person. Query him on those, him or her,
Interesting.
and find out how much deep they've gone into that particular project, that particular requirement. You will know the caliber of the student. I think, in my view, industry has to do it that way. We have to, shall we say, improve ourselves and not look at CGPA as because what happens is, with due apologies to academia, I think the testing or the good CGPA students have excellent retention, but not necessarily the equivalent application and problem solving ability, working ability in a team, to deliver projects, communicate, art of storytelling that project. These are things that we need in the industry. So if I can request to consider reducing the exam-based evaluation and have more continuous project-based evaluation, you can build a strong portfolio for the students, which industry will trust, I can tell you that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So, and also ask the professors before you recruit, right? So, none of the HR have ever contacted us. We have been looking at the child for 4 years. And I know about backbenchers, how intelligent they are. But again, filtering to CGPA, they say, I don't want to learn this course. Hey, sir, I don't want, sir. So give me some C, I'll survive. I don't like this. Right? I have several kids like this who are doing extremely well right now, very extremely well. But those days, we call the HR. HR should at least call us and say, see, you have seen that kid for 4 years. You're only seeing for half an hour. And that piece of paper called resume. Okay. So I think that also you should add in your own.
One more.
Yes, sir.
One more point,
Yes,
which
sir.
I request all the industry professionals here. The injustice being done to the students who are pursuing a professional course. We have professional societies. We have also educational bodies in all the forums. SICKI, FICCI, CII, lot of forums are there. But are they connecting with the students at any level, any way? This guy is pursuing a IEEE or whoever it is. What sort of a upskilling, reskilling, continuous learning can happen through only when the student becomes the member of these bodies, and how important these memberships are, how much contribution industries are doing towards these bodies is most important. That's what exactly is lacking. We are not able to form these industry bodies which can excite a student to be part of them and engage and re-engage and ensure success for himself and the platform as such. This is all not happening. This shit is very important thing. Professionals, I ask many students, what are the professional bodies you are a member of at the third year? He's looking at the sky. He doesn't know where, and if that is not being inculcated in a professional course from the year one, and that's not the way the professionals who are currently in the industry are engaging with the students, then where do you expect them to have that continuous learning attitude? In medical course that happens, continuous medical as CMEs, they happen very regularly, very frequently they happen. Probably the pharma industry is sponsoring it, whatever it is, but whatever it is, continuous medical education is there. Like that, continuous engineering education should be there. The forums are actually failing the students as far as professionalism is concerned.
So you want to add something?
Yeah, so let me start my own case study. So I wanted good MS PhD students. I know we have this entrance test and all these things, and we look at them for half an hour and we ask what we know rather than what they know. So that these problems are there. So what I did was, we started off, anybody wanted an internship. When I was an assistant professor, 100 people come for internship. And everybody I'll give some problem and they'll start interacting. Survival of the fittest. So then crop up some 4 or 5 guys or 10 students will come up. In that 10, 5 of them will ask for record to go abroad. No problem, give. Okay, they're human. We are Ministry of Human Resource Development, so we develop. Then even if they stay back. And some of them write gate. So on a yearly basis, from this 100, I was able to get at least 4 or 5 students who will come and do research with me. And some of the students today are running one of the most successful startups today, or people who have stuck with me for 10 years and they have done their unpaid internship, paid internship, project, then MS, PhD, then postdoc, and today they are very, very successful startups. And so, friends, nobody is going to come to you. Gone are the days where, people, we have to search for the talent. Because the talent doesn't know that you are searching for it. And you don't know where the talent is. No, I think we have to search for the talent. So, professor of practice for the industry here is a very interesting thing. So, you go to some industry, you go to some academia and say, I am ready, I'll teach some course. Interact with the young students there, pick some 4 or 5 nice persons. You can by just seeing, you will know. Irrespective of their CGPA, GPA, everything. Bring them, take them to, come on Saturday, Sunday, come there, give them a nice treat. Right? Send a vehicle to pick them up. That talent you'll get. So that's the most important thing.
Models like Professor of Practice and IITs and SRM are all in the forefront in India. How do we ensure that we scale this for all the various educational institutions across the country? How do we ensure that this knowledge goes to all the colleges which are producing engineers in the country?
I'll just, this is all like trust here. I trust you, right? Why should I? See, trust, I've been telling this in many forums. Trust cannot be defined. Trust is not reflexive. Sometimes you don't trust yourself. Trust is not symmetric. I trust you, you need not trust me. Trust is not transitive. I trust you, you trust him, I need not trust him. Trust is context dependent. I trust you on something, I don't trust you on something else. Trust is temporal. Morning I trust you, evening I don't trust you. All mathematical definitions where you prove equivalence is gone. All mathematics, guys, discrete mathematics, reflexive, transitive, symmetric relations, all gone. Even this scaling is also something that you have to put your mind there. I need one individual in every college who thinks about this. That is the lack today, because that is the big quality that we want to build. See, here Sastry there. I think SRM is very, blessed to have people like Sastry.
Correct.
We have to start thinking in this line. How many of us even actually go to NITs, go to some, there's a very great institution called Bannari Amman Institution. How many people here know about it? 2 of them, 3 of them, 5 of them. Right? Wonderful institution. Mr. Balu is doing a great job there. They actually learn by this experiential learning. Have you visited Sita and Murali? You should visit it. It's in Satyamangalam, very close to Veerapan. Okay? There, they've done an excellent job. Excellent job. Right? So we must start searching for this institution, and that should come as an habit.
So one thing, sir, is faculty in your colleges are all awesome. I've seen in many of the other colleges, people who don't get jobs become a faculty. They kind of take the teaching job and all those stuff. And how do we ensure that the compensation, how do we ensure that the teaching can become a good paying compensation for people with keeping the whole country's vision in mind? How do
Industry
you,
give projects
industry should give projects to all the colleges?
And some of these colleges, and see, even 5 lakh, 10 lakh, simple projects. That's what I say, half an hour of this hall rent. If you give to one college, one faculty, 1 year.
Again, it comes to come back to you.
He's just giving us
I
a job
think-
back.
I think that is the
That
kind.
is one part, industry engagement. And this, you see, you can't say, you can't force one fellow to romance, right? You should fall in romance. You can't tell. Romance is incentive. Teaching also is such a noble profession, but it should come from the heart. And as you see, if they have just come to become a teacher because I didn't get anything else, I think it's not going to work.
Problem.
It's
If
a
I may-
fact.
So,
if I may-
my take in this is parents today. I'll just give you one small example. Today we called all the 200 toppers in JEE. We even flew them. Many people criticized we are trying to convince them to join IIT Madras. That was not our intention. We flew them and I personally spent 2 hours with them. Finally, 10 parents came and told me, sir, we came here trying to ask you questions about pay package and employment. We are going with the feel of technology sovereignty and national security.
Wow.
Parents at an early stage. My father, what he did was, he's a professor. And when I got an industry job, the next day morning, from morning 4 o'clock, he was doing some puja for 1 year, 1.5 years. Every day you say you should quit this and become a teacher. That is my wish. I'm not forcing you, but this is my wish. I'm praying God. The moment I got IIT Madras, I was actually getting 2,23,000 there. It was 22,000 rupees here. We're talking about salary, 1/10. So the happiest. And I was also happiest. This pay package was not a big issue for us. But that comes essentially because you have an inclination to become a teacher. Teaching as a profession, you should love, enjoy, and be very contented. Very nice.
Yeah, can I add?
Yeah, sorry. I'll just add to
Just
this.
to add to what he's saying, I think he spoke about Atma Vishwas.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a seva mindset from the industry.
Service
You
mind.
can add that word seva because I will be amazed. I am part of the IIT Madras alumnus and I interact with part of the committee that interacts with people all over the world. There are people at very high positions all over the world who at the drop of a hat will come and teach at an outreach program which they will not expect any remuneration. They don't. Maybe you cover the travel cost or it can be even remote. They are willing to do that, give back to their roots because wherever they have reached is because of what roots have molded them, right? So this giving back mindset to the roots is there. It just needs to be tapped. And the industry needs to have this seva mindset. Then it will happen, I'm telling you.
For the benefit of the foreign delegates, seva is service. So like kind of
Service, yeah, sorry, it's service mindset.
Service mindset.
Give
Great
back.
point. So one last question before we end the panel discussion. If each one of you, if you really want India to be a truly skill capital of the world, what is one drastic action, one bold action that we must take in the next 5 years?
Industry, academia must forge a very strong relationship. One model is our IIT Madras Research Park model, where we have more than 500 people occupying, in which around 100, 150 startup, but 250, 350 major industries. And then we also have a point model. If you want to be, we are not real estate there. If you want to be there, then you should have some engagement with us. So that is also, that very strong relationship must build. And that is how the products, the product thinking, system thinking will come into the academia. And the vice versa also of how to recruit, how to nurture, how to take it forward, how to tap the academic intelligence also will come for the industry.
Great.
Number one. Number two, as you told, we are looking for employers rather than employees. I think at least the top higher education institutions must look at employers. I have given my target, right? By next November 26, my first recruitment starts. I should now proudly go and tell that 20% of my graduating class are already CXOs. That is very, very important. I think that nurtureship should come. Academia must also now look at a little more than Saraswati. We have to look at Lakshmi. We are also trying to get some alternative investment funds, right? Where they come and the Series A, Series A++ funding, at least that much, we must be in a position. No, we say make a startup, then sir, I have made a startup. Now
Where's the
I have
money?
103, where's the money? It's a question. So now we are working, and so there also, it's very prosperous. Today, Ether is our first IPO. It's 13 years since they started, and 2013, now they were driving scooters in our campus. Okay, now today they are IPO, and we invested some 5,000 rupees, and now we are touching around 75 crores as return. Okay, so this is something which I want to tell people. Invest. So I'm also telling my alumni, we gave you a lot of Saraswati. Now it's an opportunity. We'll give you more Lakshmi also. Give something and take Lakshmi, more Lakshmi.
It's really a great example, sir. An academic institution owning a stake in the startup which it incubated and helped it to grow.
That becoming
And
IPO.
that's actually become a wealth earning for the academic, which they can invest further in many more. That's why in his keynote he said, "I'm open. Any one of you can come and be incubated in IIT Chennai, but everybody should remember and take this offer. Just come up with but it has to be a great idea, otherwise he won't clear it. It has to be a great idea. He has to clear it. Then he will allow you space and everything to come and incubate." And he'll invest 5,000 rupees and make another 75 crores in each. Yes, sir.
Sir has spoken all the words of wisdom that is required to become a skill capital. Only the one thing, as I said, we needed to really work with our professional bodies. We have so many of them, government has invested, so many of us are also investing, but none of them is working to the expectations of the academia to come back to the academia and do something. They are not doing it. Even IEEE has also lost its flavor somewhere, and so many bodies are there. None of them are.
So you're saying that people who are passed out come back to the alumni?
Yeah, that professional bodies and societies which we created long time ago is not. This is the apprenticeship also. It was there long time ago, but the policy and the way with vigor with which we are pursuing it now is not there previously. We needed to put these things in place properly.
Very true. Very
Whatever we have, if we do that the best, we will definitely be the best.
Very true.
Sastry says, see, I've been telling in some of these wiki, all these CCIs, CIs, see, organize a meeting in daytime, don't give lunch, ask everybody to bring their own curd rice. But come, all the major industries, call all the startups, all the major industries like all Sita, Murali, all of them will come here. They will now talk about their problems, bigger problems. Give 20 days. 20 days, 1 month. 1 month later, call all the startups and let them come and say, this, for this I have these problem solutions, etc. Do this Swayamvaram. I've been telling for last 5 years. That is exactly what needs to happen here. So that is how, the students will also get enthused and they can also tell, and you will solve the problem at 1/10 of the cost and the solution will be good. Then after the solution comes, it is very easy for you to actually accelerate it and make it something compatible with all your automotive standard, in case of Mahindra, other things. So I think that is precisely, this is what should be the role of the CIAs, IIAs, CCCI, CCC, RASCOM, all these fellows. I think that is something which we need to insist upon.
Well said. Well said.
And in some places, like, nursing, I'm facing this problem. In India itself, we have a shortage. Where do we supply this skill to the world? So there's first thing, like when we go and talk to the nurses, will you qualify on this so that you can go to Europe? They say, I'm getting a job here itself. We are not able to find workforce here itself. How can we leave them to other countries? In some cases, it is also there. While we are doing these structural adjustments, satisfying the entire world, we need to look at our own country also once.
Great. Yeah,
So,
Dr. Sridhar.
The point, whatever Dr. Kamakoti mentioned, that industry and academia collaboration, the strong collaboration, which includes, because of the current trends of the industry and the kind of requirements, I'm touching upon the BOS, Board of Studies related stuff. I think that is more frequently you need to have, because the trends are changing very, very, in a faster manner. So I think the introduction of this Python, when you mentioned, I was really, because a lot of people they are actually learning on their own. They don't have any outside certifications and all. Now at least there is something that is already in place. Similar to this, the BOS is one particular thing. I don't know whether the other, even IIT Madras has got BOS. Yeah. So, small engineering college. So that needs to be strengthened in terms of how you really change the course curriculum in terms of the requirements of the industry.
Okay. Murali?
I have three concrete specific proposals
Wow.
for academia and industry. Okay. Integrate industry and academia from the very first semester. Very first semester. Can we do that? Can we do that, guys? How it can work? Industry can come with curated problems, co-develop with faculty, and let 40% of the course be problem solving. Right? Solve. Why you cannot teach theory and experiments in context of a problem? Can be done. I think it can be done. Third, industry professionals should get into teaching. Find the time to go and do workshops. How difficult it is? It's not difficult, I'm telling you. Can I do one workshop, say on a Saturday or a Friday afternoon? Have 4-hour workshop with the students. We can teach them what is important for the industry, and like Professor Kamakoti said, you will get to interface with these students and you will know what are the creme de la creme. That's actual creme de la creme, right?
Oh, great.
Right.
Okay.
And then, last but not the least, I think you alluded to it before, is to touch and feel of the product, right? I think even our own engineers, young engineers in our industry don't do that. Dr. Sarma, tell me, how many of your NVH engineers are actually going and doing ride and drives? How many of your, crash analysis people actually looking at, FMVSS testing?
Yeah.
I think I'm talking in a very, very specific instances, but in general, the theme is you need to connect the physical and the virtual world. We are getting too far into the virtual world that even our collaboration is virtual now. So I think we need to connect back to the physical world. And I think that will become more, can we say, robust engineers. You want talented engineers, they need to be grounded in the physical world.
Great action items. Yeah,
So he said collaboration in the.
Yeah, yes. One
more. Encourage entrepreneurial spirit, which means it starts at the school level, education level, is don't punish people making mistakes. Embolden them to try things. I think, and then entrepreneurial spirit also comes from solving problems and communicating the problem solutions and convincing somebody to say that this is a solution that you should accept. You should take it back to the industry. I think entrepreneurial spirits is built there actually.
Very well said. Very well said. So
I just want to conclude. When he said collaboration is in the virtual world, not on the ground, but it has gone to cloud. It is not even.
Not in the virtual world. Okay. Before we end, any questions from the audience? We can just take a couple of questions that you may want to ask this esteemed panelist. Any questions that you may have? Yeah, sir, please. Can you just pass on the mic, please? Yeah.
So, respected dignitaries, it was quite an insightful discussion. So, I'm Dr. Dinesh Kumar Bhaskar. I'm working for a EMS company called TD Codex. So, on the topic of being a skill capital, so I did my PhD from Canada. So, I have an outsider perspective. What we do see are what I observe that is lacking is that we lack science graduates in this country. So, for instance, if I want to develop a coding technology, I don't have a chemist, for instance, a trained, well-trained, educated chemist. So that's lacking. If I have to develop a nanofilm, I'm lacking a physicist. So we talked a lot about AI. We are lacking probability and statistics mathematicians in this country. So I consider myself relatively young. So when I did my undergrad in 2005, going to science was still a thing, but I don't see that anymore. So I really put this as a humble request to all these great minds that how we can create awareness in this country for young people to pursue science. And that will be a huge gap if we really want to do first principle discoveries and make India as ownership of all these technologies. So we need people, those who are well trained in science.
Very true.
So if we can do that, that's like we are churning out 100,000 engineers a year just from Tamil Nadu itself. So it would be really good. So what we could do to bridge this gap? So that would be my question.
Very good, very good. And a lot of engineers want to join IT company. They want to do computer science. In fact, even I remember Dr. Mahesh Kailasama, CEO, yesterday telling that our focus is still based on the basic physics and applied mechanics. So while the other things can actually happen, but very, very good point. But we have to take motivation from the 82-year-old guy. Let's enroll and learn basic science as well.
Yeah. So today, ICERs have been basically formed, the Indian Institute of Scientific Education and Research. There are 7 of them in the country.
Mhm.
So the government has put that very important framework. And many of the IITs today, we started a BS in chemistry. You said chemist, I'm very happy. So we've started, and top rankers have joined. I personally went and made a big campaign about it in the press. So we are working on it. But the biggest problem here, by the time the student even comes to the forum, the moment they get a JEE advanced rank, there are 100,000 people who have advised them on 100,000 different things. As long as pay package is going to be the determining factor, science will not grow in our country. That's the biggest problem. So whatever we'll talk, philosophy, parents must start looking at country rather than pay package. And this is a driving factor. I see everywhere, do this, do it. I was actually taking my daughter to a school, right, for some the JEE training. She was already in 10th, 6th standard kid, and it was late by some 10 minutes. That fellow was saying that previous day our recruitment started, and the Hindu paper reported it is raining dollars at IIT Madras. Okay, this fellow, it is raining dollars at IIT Madras. Come fast, 6th standard, right? Raining dollars at IIT Madras. Come fast, we are late. 6th standard is going for a training. So as long as pay package, artham anartham, Adi Shankara has told in Bhajagovindam. If you have learned Bhajagovindam, as long as money is going to be top in your head, science will not grow. The answer, we have 100,000 answers for this. This is the fundamental answer. I am very convinced about it.
Very, very well put. Very well said.
If I may answer your question, many people don't know this. Large language models are built on transformers, right? People think it's very exotic, but it's actually high school mathematics, linear algebra, calculus, and trigonometry. Very simple high school mathematics. But there is nobody to explain it in a way which even somebody who doesn't know can grasp it. The problem is that actually we need people to come out and educate math for AI as a starting point. Just giving you one instant. So I think that's something we need more of. We need accomplished people in math talk about AI. Accomplished people in AI espouse basic principles of math. If you do that, a physics-based AI we're talking about, it's simple physics. It's not difficult. Talking about Newton's equation, we're talking about Hooke's law, this level only. So I think we think AI is very exotic, but it is really high school mathematics. And so if we start there, then there will be more where we can take AI to the next level. Can be actually somebody can think like that, right?
Forget about science. There are students and parents who come and ask us, should I take CSC core or should we take CSC in AI and ML? What do you answer to them?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the audience. Just to summarize the panel. Oh yeah, one more question. Maybe you'll have one more question you can just take. But panelists are available during lunch, so please you can. Okay, maybe 2 questions there. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello everybody. I'm Sumant Kumar from New Delhi, and I'm also working, partly with Hexagon for some of the products. But I have been in the business for 30 years, more than 30 years, and I have worked closely with the industry. One aspect of skilling that we have missed totally in as far as our Indian government policies are concerned is tool making. Anything that we are using, wearing, eating, or driving, or even putting to our head, helmets, everything requires a good tool. And India has a very strong tool making tradition, capability, tradition, knowledge, but we have not yet addressed it as a national challenge, as a national mission. And I think we are missing the bus by quite a bit, because our countries, not in countries, our competitors, China, Taiwan, Korea, they have made it a national mission since 20 years to develop the tooling industry. So I wanted to bring that to the fore. One quick light comment is, after hearing Professor Kamakoti's inspiration, I tried to log into the BOS admission. It is closed yesterday.
Maybe you can request him to open it up.
Serious, you can send me. I'll try
Yeah.
to.
I will do that. Thank you.
It's not as. So, with respect to tool, yes, I fully agree today. One is, let us take semiconductor manufacturing. Semiconductor manufacturing, there's a tool for doing the semiconductor manufacturing. The tool that will etch, the tool which will put the photolitho, that is missing. And as he rightly pointed out, China comes out with just like this. There was some denial of technology. They came out with a 2 nanometer electron beam writing within days. Right? They might have been working it for 10 years, but they announced it within the moment there was a denial from the other part of the world, they are able to come. Yes. Thank you. So, so tool is very important. So there is this, if you know, sir, if you are having some time, there is this Advanced Machine Tool Development Center, AMTDC, which has been sponsored by the Department of Heavy Industry. So we have one successful center at Chennai and IIT Madras Research Park. You can come and look at it. It's headed by one of our very senior mechanical professor. But AMTDC, 5 or 6 centers started across. But Madras alone survived, right? So we actually developed tools. There are very good startups that have come up. So the effort was recognized, but it didn't. It needs to scale. And as you told, perfect tool management is going to be the key. And that point is well taken. But people here, I extend a hearty welcome invitation to the AMTDC. You can come and see. A lot of indigenous machines, everything is done.
You can design whatever you want.
You can design that, and then, but the only thing is that the original agreement was we should give it to the industry, we should not take any royalty. So that was there, but anyway, you can come and look at it.
One last question. I'll just take one last question.
Now, to add to
This is not, this is something else. Don't worry, go ahead.
one just addition to Professor Kamal. I know we had a long dialogue with Professor Ramesh Babu of AMTDC. One of his challenges is to get talent on board, even expat talent. That is one of his biggest challenges that he posed to the alumni team. I think, to your point, I think this is something where we need talent influx into AMTDC, into Sri City, which is emerging as an advanced manufacturing hub. So there are a lot of these hubs that are in the infancy, which requires talent actually. So it has not been ignored. I think Industry 4.0 is also in the horizon, but I think to me, there is not enough publicity to this.
Yeah, one last question.
Yeah, hi sirs. This is a great discussion on skill gap. In continuation to the first question, I have a doubt like to progress, it looks like parents are the ones who are stopping this. So how do we educate parents?
I don't know. I make a statement frequently. See, now I am 55 years old. My wife does fantastic chapatis. Fantastic. But the third chapati I eat, I get gastritis. So all that I earn is for only the 2 chapatis. So from there, we start. So it is spiritual. By the time you realize all these things, you are past the age. That's all life is about.
Your point.
At least here, whoever is a parent, don't ask for any further education on this. You please, you are already educated based on this kind of a discussion. Whoever is the parent here.
Now things have gone so bad. 15 years ago when I went for parent-teachers meeting, my kids were in UKG. They were asking about what are you doing for JEE preparation for these kids. And I was like completely flabbergasted. I said, are you UKG's parent or?
Hey, thank you.
Last, no, since you have enthused, I am also running short of time, but this I can't stop it. Thank you, please. So, when there were some suicides in the IIT Madras campus, my second 6 months, 5 kids committed suicide in 6 months. And I really, it was just after COVID. Then when we started doing something, we found that some test we did, many kids did not have vitamin D at all. Then we had to tell them, that is called sun, this is called grass. They have not played. From 5th standard, 6th standard, they put them into some coaching. And so then we decided to have these two admissions. One is sports excellence admission. If you win a national champion or you participate internationally, you get a admission. We give you reserve 2 seats. You can get some very low marks in the advanced also. That doesn't matter. But we get a priority admission into top courses. Your computer science, data science, and every course we had 2 seats. So last time we had 5 national champions. This time we have 9 national champions. So the message we give to the parents is, please allow the kids to play. Next thing, I am a violinist. I have very good, great, musicians as my friends. Some very good Sangeeta Kalanidhis. They came and told, Kama, there are some kids, they are singing very well, yeah, but 9th, they want to start preparing for JE. So they left that. So we are also killing the art. Now this year we have got face admission, fine arts and cultural excellence. You have the CCRT fellowship, or you have a All India Radio, some gradation.
Very nice.
Then you can get it. So these are all some messages we are giving. I don't know how much it will reach, but we are giving. So
Really nice.
So I want to take this opportunity to give this message here.
Really
also.
nice. Thank you so much. So it's very clear based on the discussion, disruption is there, collaboration is kind of needed, agility is a skill that we kind of need. I think the opportunity for India is there, and I think the skill capital of the world vision is very much there. So I think, the future is for the people who are ready, and I think India has an opportunity here in not only to participate in the race, but to actually lead the race as well. So looking forward, wish you all the best. Thank you so much for each one of the panelists. It's been an awesome discussion, been a learning for me as well. Really thank you, and thank you for the audience.
Thank you.